Folks, I have told you on numerous occasions, Donald Trump and MAGA does not give a damn about black people. Here is the 1,272nd example of that. The U.S. Department of Justice, they've ended a landmark agreement that was meant to fix long-standing sewage problems in Lowndes County, known as the Black Belt in Alabama. The decision follows a directive from the Trump administration, an executive order that bans federal agencies from supporting diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. Now, these idiots are declaring that this agreement is DEI. Now, folks, this takes place 30 miles from Montgomery, the state capital of Alabama, the heart of the Black Belt, where more than 5,000 homes in the county, or 60%, have failing or inefficient sewer systems. That's thousands of families, many of them black, living with sewage in their yards or backing up into their homes. Lowndes County, 9,800 people, folks, and the county is 72.5% black, 25.9% white. Generations have endured raw sewage in their yards, not because of poor choices, but because of poor infrastructure and government neglect. That's why the Biden administration launched an environmental justice investigation in 2021, which found that Alabama's public health officials failed to protect residents from wastewater hazards. Catherine Coleman Flowers, the CEO of the Center for Rural Enterprise and Environmental Justice. She's going to join us tomorrow to discuss this, but I'm going to discuss it right now. My panel, Dr. Omekongo Dibinga, Senior Professorial Lecturer, School of International Service, American University, author of Lies About Black People, How to Combat Racist Stereotypes and Why It Matters, D.C. Tommy Christopher, editor, Mediaite out of Tuckerton, New Jersey. Eugene Craig, CEO, X Factor Media out of Baltimore. Eugene, I'll start with you. All of these MAGA people, where are they? These black MAGA people. It's amazing how quiet they are. So this decision impacts black people in Lowndes County. The Cancer Alley decision to stop that lawsuit against petrochemical company affects black people in Louisiana. They stopped a lawsuit dealing with black people in voting in Texas. Donald Trump does not give a damn about black people. And all of these black people, all of those Negroes who were so happy, smiling and shucking and jiving at the White House Black History Month party, it's amazing how quiet all of them they are. Where's Michaela Montgomery? Where's C.J. Pearson? Where is David Harris? Where is, what's his name, Pinto? Where are all these folks? Where's that little girl from FAMU who's running around? It's amazing how quiet they are when these things are impacting black people and you don't hear peep.
Look, the thing about this new wave of black MAGA is that, look, they don't, it's actually sad and disappointing, right? Because they don't care about black people. They just care about feeling slightly better about themselves for the poor decisions that they make. So, yeah, all they do care about is doing things like, showing up to the White House for a quote-unquote Black History Month event right after the White House, assaults Black history. We shouldn't expect them to ever speak out against things, like the White House ending this DEI lawsuit, but they're calling it a DEI lawsuit when in reality it's actually the federal government cleaning up a state and local government mess. We shouldn't expect them to reasonably, speak out when, they want to shut down the Blacksonian, right? We shouldn't reasonably expect them to speak out when they want to erase Harriet Tubman and the true essence of the Underground Railroad from the National Park Service. We shouldn't expect them to speak out, when, the Pentagon says, oh, yeah, Jackie Robinson was DEI hire. We shouldn't expect them to speak out with none of this because first and foremost, they have to appeal to white conservatives for the grift to work because without that appeal, the grift just wouldn't work. And so, when you're looking at Dr. Julio out of Atlanta, when you're looking at, in any of these folk that decide to pop up and run around and prop up Donald Trump, just expect them to not show up when it comes to actual black issues affecting black people, when it comes to this Trump White House.
Omekongo, and bottom line is this here. When you look at all of this, these folks are silent. They are complicit. Again, Byron Donalds, nothing. Burgess Owens, nothing. Wesley Hunt, nothing. Tim Scott, nothing. They're just all quiet. They're saying nothing. And these are real issues impacting black people, impacting the lives of black people.
Yeah, and these guys got more smoke for Pastor Jamal Bryant than they have for anything this administration is doing. And it's shameful and disgraceful. When you mentioned Tim Scott and Byron Donalds and the like, this is who they are. And they're still trying to find a way to angle for some way to get in good graces with this administration, to build their profile while our people are dying, while our people are struggling. And these situations, Trump and his people, all they see with these areas, all they see is land. And they see possibilities of people having to move into other areas so they can go in and take over that land. And for these poor white folks in these rural communities and these other spaces, they're going to do the same thing with you as well, if they're not doing it already. I don't know if there's other networks that are speaking out, for poor, marginalized white people. We do on this network, but I'm saying we're paying real attention to it like we're doing right now. They're coming for everybody, and they have no respect for people who are poor, for people who are struggling, and for people who are dealing with, as Brother Craig was saying, man-made disasters. And this is the other thing. Did you see that interview last week where Kennedy, they're like, hey, man, you cut this program for teen diabetes. And he was like, oh, we didn't do that. We just cut all the DEI stuff. They use DEI as a trigger word for everything. And as long as they use that term DEI for everything, the Byron Donalds of the world, the Tim Scotts of the world, none of them are going to speak up because they don't want to be associated with anything that might actually be looked at DEI. This is not DEI. This is public health. This is people dying. This is communities being torn apart, and it's been happening for decades. And I don't know what's going to happen with these black Republicans because, to be quite honest, as long as they can continue to be a mouthpiece for Donald Trump, we're not going to hear a peep for them about anything having to do with the empowerment of black people. In these situations, we are on our own from them.
Absolutely. And so I think it is safe to say that black people can forget having any protection at all from this administration. I mean, you can forget them standing up for black people. They are going to stand up for big business at every turn.
100%. I mean, look, John James announced his run for governor of Michigan, right? I think every single black Michiganer needs to be asking them from here on out, why haven't you done anything to support the situation in Flint? And what can we reasonably expect you to lie about you're going to do if you get elected governor?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. And so, sure, John James, where you at? Where you at? And this is where every single one of these black Republicans need to be questioned specifically about these decisions that impact black people on the Congo. As simple as that. And we shouldn't let them off the hook.
Oh, absolutely. And given the incredible work that was done in Louisiana to destroy, those 4 initiatives that the governor had on the ballot there, these black Republicans need to wake up because, as you always talk about, Roland, when we get the turnout and get our numbers out in the places where the places we populate, we are unstoppable. And I think that more and more black people slowly but surely are waking up to that fact. When you look at the work of Black Votes Matter and so many of these other organizations, I think every black Republican should be on notice right now. You're not going to be able to bring in 50 Cent. You're not going to be able to bring in some of these other guys who are going to speak for you and just say, oh, we'll just get some black votes. We'll just throw in a black celebrity here and there. It's not going to work this time around. And these guys are continually and daily making themselves irrelevant because the Trump administration has shown that they have nothing for them. I'm not even convinced Byron Donalds will even get that Trump endorsement when he runs for governor in Florida. But where are these guys going to go? They're going to think they can always come back, kind of Candace Owens-like, try to rehabilitate themselves, go on a couple of podcasts here and there, maybe get an interview on some of these. There's always room with Stephen A. Smith and some of these other guys who does not speak for black people in the Democratic Party, but they will see that as a way to kind of move themselves up. But we have to be unforgiving in how we challenge the people who have abandoned us. They cannot be able to be allowed back in, especially after this administration continues to reject them. And again, going back to that Louisiana example, we are showing that when we flex our muscle, we are unstoppable. And all of those black Republicans out there need to be on notice with that.
Hello, I'm Isaac Hayes III, founder and CEO of Fanbase. Listen to what I'm about to tell you. The window to invest in Fanbase is closing. We've raised over $10.6 million of our $17 million goal. That means there's room for less than 6,370 people to invest in Fanbase for the average amount. The minimum to invest in Fanbase Right now, it's $399. That makes you an owner in Fanbase today. Go to startengine.com/fanbase to invest. Why? Because current social apps have taken advantage of users for far too long, with content suppression, shadow banning, harmful racist content, and no real tools for monetization and equity. Fanbase has over 1.4 million users and counting, allowing anyone to reach all their following and monetize their content from day one. Social media is the new TV, and whoever owns the apps that distribute that content have the opportunity to own potential billion-dollar companies. While big platforms with uncertain futures are failing to serve their users, Fanbase is stepping up to fill the gap. Don't wait until it's too late. Invest now, invest for yourself and your future. Go to startengine.com/fanbase and own the next generation of social media.